All right, in today's explainer, we are diving into a source that makes some truly mind-bending claims. The argument is that there are hidden technological threats out there, and they're designed specifically to target our children to, fundamentally reshape the future. So let's get right into it.
So, the source we're looking at kicks things off with this. And wow, it's a powerful one. It taps right into a very real, very modern fear for any parent. The idea that something as seemingly innocent as a cartoon could actually be the cause of addictive, harmful behavior in your kid. This is really the doorway into a much, much larger story. Okay, so let's jump in right where the source does, with this one single, really bizarre piece of content that it holds up as like the first symptom of a much deeper problem. So this story starts with parents from all over the globe, and they're all talking about the same thing. This weird kind of nonsensical cartoon that their kids have just become completely obsessed with. And it's called Ballerina Capuchina.
Okay, and this is where it gets really specific. The source claims this isn't just a poorly made cartoon, it's engineered. It's supposedly generated by AI with one goal in mind, to be addictive. And it's not just the content itself, which is described as being full of violence and harassment, all presented as if it's normal. It's the form. The specific colors they use, the strange sounds. All of it is said to be picked very carefully to manipulate a child's brain, leading to this obsessive, withdrawn behavior.
And that leads to this quote from the source, which really drives home just how serious the alleged impact is. We're not just talking about kids being distracted here. The claim is that they're becoming totally disconnected from reality, that they can't process information, almost as if their minds have been completely formatted, wiped clean. So you have to wonder, right? Is this Ballerina Capuchina just a one-off, some weird internet thing? Well, according to the source we're examining, the answer is a hard no. It's actually a gateway to understanding a much, much wider phenomenon.
And to explain how this is all supposed to work, the source brings up this really chilling idea it calls digital drugs.
So, what are digital drugs? According to this material, they're not something you swallow or inject. Nope, they're delivered through sound and visuals. Think of it like specific musical frequencies or visual patterns, like the ones supposedly in that cartoon, designed to hijack your brain's reward system, create a certain mood, and ultimately create a really powerful addiction.
And here's where the source makes a pretty shocking comparison. It claims that withdrawal from these so-called digital addictions can be just as physically traumatic as coming off of chemical drugs, even citing symptoms like seizures and convulsions. The main point they're making is that this isn't just a metaphor. It's a real, parallel danger, and maybe even more insidious because of how easily it can be delivered right to us.
Okay, so this begs the obvious question. Why? If any of this is happening, what's the end game? Well, the source proposes a massive overarching goal, the deliberate distortion of entire future generations.
And the focus here is supposedly laser sharp. While adults and teens might get caught up in it, the source is absolutely adamant that the primary, long-term target is children. The goal, it alleges, isn't just about getting clicks or views today, it's about programming the society of tomorrow.
And here's what that programming is supposedly designed to do. To create a generation that's psychologically unbalanced, totally disconnected from traditional values, and, this is a big one, desensitized to things like violence and cruelty. A population that can't think for itself because it's been formatted with a new operating system, so to speak, one that's designed to be controlled. And from here, the source's claims escalate into a full-on dystopian vision for the future. It's a prediction of where this path of technological manipulation and, generational distortion ultimately leads. This timeline, wow, it paints a pretty stark picture. The source predicts a future with no more physical schools, where learning is just data downloaded directly onto chips implanted in our brains. A future where human experience becomes entirely virtual, lived from a single spot, until eventually the line between human and machine just dissolves.
This quote really sums up the core fear here. The prediction isn't just about a change in technology, it's about a fundamental loss of our humanity. The idea is we would lose the very qualities that define us. The ability to think critically, to feel real empathy, to strive for things and grow through our actions.
I mean, just think about that for a second. All of life's most amazing experiences, falling in love, exploring the world, playing sports, all of it reduced to perfect internal simulations. You would feel it all, experience it all, but none of it would be real. You'd achieve everything without ever actually doing anything.
But wait, It doesn't end there. The source then weaves these technological predictions into an even broader narrative of widespread deception, connecting it to other conspiracies that it claims are all part of the same master plan.
The source material then shows a clip from what appears to be a public hearing where a speaker makes this absolutely shocking claim under oath, that the DNA of aborted fetuses has been discovered inside common childhood vaccines. And to be specific, the source alleges that vaccines for polio, measles, and rabies contain this human fetal DNA. And it goes even further, claiming that COVID-19 vaccines contain venom from multiple types of snakes. Again, these are the direct claims being presented in the source material we're looking at.
Okay, so we've talked biological stuff. Now let's shift to perceptual manipulation. The source introduces another supposed tool of mass deception, holograms. The argument is that what we see, what we believe to be historical fact, can just be fabricated on a massive scale.
And the examples given are just massive. The source claims that the 9/11 attacks were actually a holographic projection, and that a huge number of the tanks during the Iraq War were also faked with this tech. The prediction is that this technology will be used in the future to stage global events, maybe even simulating the appearance of revered religious figures to manipulate the entire world.
So if you take a step back and look at everything the source presents, the addictive cartoons, the digital drugs, the vaccines, the holograms, it all points to one core argument. It's the claim that reality itself is under assault, that our biology, our perceptions, and especially our children's minds are all battlegrounds in a war to control the future of the human race.
And that really leaves us with this final, lingering question from the source's perspective. If our experiences can be perfectly simulated, our history completely rewritten, and our children's minds programmed from the moment they're born, what does the word real even mean anymore? That's what this source asks us to consider.